Hey everyone, this is Tyler from TLA. I'm here with Ken from Mestec Boiler Group. We're here to have a quick discussion on some things to keep in mind with gas regulator location when it comes to boilers and water heaters, but also some things to keep in mind with gas pipe sizing and how some of that has an effect whether you have the regulator too close or too far away. So some things to think about, and stuff that's provided actually on our IOM is kind of these tables and things that are provided even within NFPA. So we all have access to code and how we size gas pipe sizing, but I think sometimes we get led astray sometimes when it comes to equivalent pipe length. So if we had a 2000 MBH boiler or water heater, we quickly can go to the table and say, hey, you know, I have a 10,000 MBH input boiler. Okay, maybe I only need a 2-inch pipe size. But say you're over here and you're like, well, I think I want to locate these regulators on the opposite side of the room, run it over, have a drip leg, and then run into the boiler. If we go to our tables, it's just something to keep in mind that we quickly think we only need a 2-inch pipe, but with these equivalent feet, a 2-inch pipe, we can quickly eat up equivalent feet, and we could quickly have to go to a 2.5, potentially 3-inch pipe size. Alternatively, if we put the gas regulator too close, there are some other effects that can have on our system, and Ken's going to quickly speak to how that affects things.
Yeah, so the way the Dungs gas valve works is a neg reg gas valve, so we have a blower pulling the gas and the air through the valve. So if we have our regulator too close, we could actually maybe possibly starve that valve. So that valve can handle 3 inches up to 14 inches of water column, but also can only handle about a 2-inch drop across that valve. So regulator location is extremely important, and what we recommend in the IOM is to be about 10 pipe diameters from the gas valve, so we make sure we have enough volume in that pipe in order to fire these boilers. So these boilers typically fire between 30% and 40% firing rate.
So, like you said, keep in mind 10 diameters downstream of the regulator is what we want to see before we hit this gas valve. Another thing to keep in mind is why that's also important is gas piping is traditionally pretty dirty pipe. It carries a lot of debris. I don't think the city of Richmond or anywhere else is kind of cleaning their gas pipe or purging it. There's a lot of stuff that floats through. So a lot of times when in some gas regulators, we crank down on a spring or something and when we have this regulator too close, and what we're doing is we're making up volume with velocity. So this regulator is trying to catch up quickly to what this gas valve wants, and what happens there is we start increasing velocity. We start carrying debris downstream, and we can quickly plug up this very expensive gas valve. Just another aspect to keep in mind of why we want so much volume, i.e. in terms of pipe diameter, downstream of the regulator before our gas connection. Another thing to keep in mind is a lot of times there will be a reducer here because this is not sized per NFPA, but don't worry about that. Make sure you size that piping downstream of the regulator or in general per NFPA. If you have any questions about that, how our equipment operates, or how any part of the system when it comes to fluid venting in terms of gas piping, in terms of regulator, just reach out to us at TLA. We'll work through a solution, whether it be a water heater or a boiler. And thanks again for your time. Hope you learned something.